Welcome to my video. In this video, I will try to tell the story of the Ben 10 Alien Force cartoon from start to finish. However, if you haven't watched my video about the story of Ben 10 Classic, I recommend you watch it first. Now, without further ado, let's move on to the video. Our series takes place 5 years after Ben 10 Classic. Ben Tennyson is now 15 years old. Also, his cousin Gwen and his old enemy Kevin are now 16. Ben now goes to high school and lives a normal life. In fact, his favorite sport is soccer, and he's given up his heroic deeds. But one day, after school, he wants to show his grandfather Max the medal he won, but he can't find him. Here, he comes across a hologram message left for him by his grandfather. In the message, Max says that he's on a mission. Ben then goes to Gwen and shows her the message. Later, they meet a plumber who claims that Max disappeared during a mission. To save their grandfather, Ben puts his watch back on years later. However, after a while, the watch is updated and takes on a new form. 10 new aliens are added to the watch. One day, while watching the Eternal Nights, they see Kevin. Kevin has recovered from his old form and has learned to absorb matter instead of energy. Kevin is then scammed by the Eternal Nights. After this, Kevin joins Ben and Gwen to form the legendary trio. Meanwhile, a fascist alien species called the Highbreed emerges, which considers itself superior to all other races. This race is turned ordinary humans into a species called DNA aliens. Ben defeats the Eternal Nights by transforming into Swampfire, his first new alien. They then sneak into a tower and destroy all the weapons. Ben transforms into Humongosaur and destroys the DNA aliens. However, the commander of the DNA aliens arrives and threatens to destroy the entire city. Ben solves the problem by shooting down the ship while in Humongosaur form. At the end of the episode, it is revealed that this commander is not the only one. In the next episode, Kevin finds a new hologram. In the hologram, Max tells Ben to assemble a team of people with superpowers. Their first goal is to recruit new heroes. Kevin's plumber badge reveals the location of a boy named Alan. This boy can transform into the Heat Blast, or Fireball, from the classic series. However, the sheriff of the town wants to detain this boy. Alan leaves, saying, "Call me if you need me," and the episode ends. In the next episode, we meet Michael Morningstar. Since this guy also has a plumber's badge, they want him to join the team, but it doesn't go well for Kevin because Gwen is taking a liking to Michael. At the end of the episode, Michael Morningstar is not what he seemed. In fact, he strengthens himself by feeding on the love of the girls. He also hypnotizes Gwen. However, after a while, Gwen gets rid of this effect and they defeat him. In the next episode, Ben wants to go to an amusement park with Julie, the girl he loves. But there, a smaller version of Ship from the classic series comes to haunt them. At first, they think he's evil, but in fact, he wants to take them to another ship that is stuck on the ship. Then the other ship leaves and the little one is left on Earth. Julie adopts him as a pet. In the next episode, Ben and his friends finally find Max. They learn that Max has been kidnapped by the Highbreed. Ben fights the Highbreed and his grandfather Max sacrifices himself to save Ben. After this, Ben vows to follow his grandfather's advice. We learn that Gwen is actually an Anodite, which gives her the opportunity to master her power. However, she gives them up for her friends. In the next episode, we meet Professor Paradox, an important character. He's been trapped in a time tunnel for 100,000 years and is time traveling to change the world for the better. Ben and his team then fight an alien that ages Kevin, but Professor Paradox restores him. In the next episode, the princess of a race of invading aliens is kidnapped by 7-7, a character who has also appeared in the classic series and brought to Earth. The princess's father threatens to destroy the world unless he saves his daughter, so Ben and his team go after 7-7 to save the princess. Meanwhile, Ben transforms into Alien X to stop an exploding dam. With a single move, Alien X rewinds time and stops the water. This alien is so powerful that it is only allowed to be used to perform certain tasks. Ben gets them on the same page and returns them to their old form. He then transforms into Swampfire and saves the world by defeating all invaders. And so, we move on to the second season. In the first episode of the second season, Ben and the Highbreed fall through a portal while fighting and find themselves trapped on a desert planet called Trust. On this desert planet, they cooperate and work together to destroy the monster. While waiting for the night, they are attacked by an alien. Also, the Highbreed's arm is severed. Ben uses Swampfire to reattach the Highbreed's arm, but the Highbreed is still not satisfied. After a short conversation, the Highbreed says that he's the only one of his kind and wants to destroy all other species. Ben and the Highbreed find the teleporter, but the Highbreed is left behind because Ben feels bad for helping him and wants to live here. The next episode introduces a new villain, Darkstar. Darkstar defeats a Highbreed and makes a deal with him. Then this Highbreed attacks Gwen and Kevin, but Ben comes to their rescue. Darkstar appears and absorbs all their energy, then takes them to his mansion. There, he tells them that he is Michael Morningstar, but he will regret not taking Gwen because she arrives with an army of DNA aliens. She's kidnapped their commander, and together they attack Darkstar and destroy him. In another episode, we meet a Galvan named Albedo. He was originally a creature like Azimuth and Grey Matter, but for some reason he took on Ben's form. He also has the Omnitrix, so everyone thinks he is Ben Tennyson. At the end of the episode, Ben and Albedo face each other and fight. During this fight, their watches stick together and an explosion occurs. Albedo's hair turns white and his jacket turns red. After this explosion, Azimuth arrives and takes Albedo's watch, transforms him to another location. In the next episode, Ben's family learns about his powers. Ben is therefore forced to explain everything to them. He leaves home on a mission and transforms into Echo Echo. However, his mother punishes him and tells him to go to his room. Since the mission is very important, he breaks the wall of the room and escapes, saving Kevin from the DNA aliens. Even his parents defeat the DNA aliens using max weapons. In another episode, Helen, a member of the lightning speed race, sends a message through Gwen. After Ben receives the message, he goes to Null Void alone. Ben somehow finds Helen and Manny. It turns out that Dr. Animo is the reason they asked for help. Years ago in the Ben 10 Classic series, Dr. Animo was set to Null Void, and during that time, Dr. Animo continued to grow in power in Null Void and established a kingdom there. He tormented the creatures of Null Void and used them for his own purposes. However, a resistance group has formed against Dr. Animo. The founder of this group is Max Tennyson. Last time we thought he was dead, but in fact he wasn't dead, and he went to Null Void on a mission. Ben is overjoyed to see his grandfather, and they join forces and defeat Dr. Animo. Ben returns to Earth, but his grandfather says he has work to do there and doesn't show up. Ben returns to Earth alone, and the story ends happily. In the finale of the second season, the Highbreed attacks and invades Azimuth's planet. Professor Paradox comes to Azimuth and teleports him to Earth because of Highbreed's next target being Earth. Paradox immediately warns Ben. Ben gathers all the people with superpowers he knows, just like his grandfather said. Finally, the Highbreed arrives on Earth and the war begins. Ben again takes full control of the Omnitrix and starts turning all the DNA aliens back into humans. Seeing this, Cooper immediately develops a weapon, and with this weapon they start to turn DNA aliens into humans much more easily. The Highbreed opens a portal to bring all the aliens to Earth. Our team tries to destroy this portal, but fails. Ben even turns into Spider Monkey, but that doesn't work either, and all the warships of the Highbreed come to Earth. Because these warships are so powerful, Ben and his team enter the main base and confront the most powerful Highbreed. And then we realize that the Highbreed is doomed, because they have become so arrogant that they don't even want to cure their diseases. That's why they're becoming extinct. Now that they're close to death, they want to destroy other species just to save themselves from extinction. But Ben uses the Omnitrix to cure the diseases of the entire Highbreed and unite them with the other aliens in the Omnitrix. Therefore, the Highbreed is no longer special, so they want to kill themselves. In the end, the Highbreed, who stayed with Ben on the desert planet in the previous episodes, comes back and ends the war by telling them that Ben is a good person. The Highbreeds listen to him and leave the world. With this, Ben becomes an intergalactic hero. As we move into the third season, Vilgax appears, whom we haven't seen since the classic series. But he is well prepared for this battle. He has conquered 9 planets and has reached his most powerful form by drawing the power of everyone there. His last planet is Earth, and he wants to take on Ben Tennyson. Meanwhile, Ben wants to hack the Omnitrix and unlock its full power. Azimuth tells Ben not to do it, but Ben doesn't care and wants to do it. However, things don't go as they want, and there's a big explosion. Because of this, the Omnitrix breaks down and some aliens escape from the clock. At the same time, Kevin is mutated by this explosion and is very angry. Then they start looking for the aliens to catch them. Eventually, they catch all the aliens. Meanwhile, Vilgax has arrived on Earth and wants to take on Ben Tennyson. Ben confronts Vilgax and fights him. At the end of this fight, Ben turns into a shiny stone, and Vilgax breaks and destroys him. But something happens, and the shiny stone turns into Diamond Head. Ben destroys Vilgax with Diamond Head and wins the battle. In the next episode, after Vilgax is beaten, he doesn't rest easy and goes to rescue Ghost Freak. He digs him out of an underground tomb and takes him to his home planet. However, Ghost Freak transforms Vilgax into his ghost form and beats him. So Vilgax asks Ben for help. Ben doesn't spare his arch rival and helps him. Together, they defeat Ghost Freak. Ben even takes Ghost Freak back into the Omnitrix. In the series finale, Vilgax turns against Ben again. This time, Albedo goes to Vilgax and wants to cooperate with him. Meanwhile, Azimuth is developing a new watch, the Ultimate Omnitrix. Albedo, of course, is the one who steals this watch. This watch transforms into the ultimate form of the aliens, unleashing a very powerful form. Albedo tries to lure Ben into a trap by kidnapping Gwen and Kevin. However, Ben goes there and confronts Albedo. Albedo immediately pulls out the Ultimate Omnitrix and transforms into Humongousaur. But that's not enough. He transforms into his ultimate form and is now much stronger than Ben. Ultimate Humongousaur is so powerful that he defeats Ben without difficulty. Then Vilgax arrives and threatens to kill his friends, so Ben is forced to give the Omnitrix to Vilgax. Having finally obtained the Omnitrix, Vilgax turns his entire army against Humongousaur. However, Vilgax breaks his agreement with Albedo and betrays him. Albedo is therefore forced to attack Vilgax and fight his army. While Ben thinks about how to defeat Vilgax, he's saddened by the loss of the Omnitrix. He even considers giving up being a hero, but Azimuth comes and convinces him again. They go to face Vilgax again. There, Ben puts the Omnitrix into destruction mode with a voice command. Vilgax doesn't believe it at first, but the Omnitrix explodes in Vilgax's arm and is truly destroyed. This time he goes to Albedo and puts the ultimate Omnitrix into annihilation mode with a voice command. Albedo is frightened by this and is finally convinced and gives the ultimate Omnitrix to Ben. Ben uses the ultimate Omnitrix to defeat Vilgax. Vilgax's ship crashes to the bottom of the sea. There, they encounter Vilgax's true form, but after defeating him, they surface. Kevin even regains his old form because the Omnitrix is destroyed, and that's the end of the story. And that's the end of my favorite Ben 10 series, and that's the summary. If you want the ultimate alien version of this video, you know what to do. But if this video gets 1,000 likes, I will publish the sequel. See you in other videos. Goodbye.